Good afternoon. Thank you for considering me as an instructional support candidate for ETO. My name is Nancy Diarriganaga, and today I'd like to present to you my observations of Ms. Jones's secondary virtual classroom. So based upon her style of questioning and her delivery of instruction, I'm wondering if this is an honors or a regular ELA class. Also, have they read all three texts already? And if they were read, did they read them by themselves or with the guidance of Ms. Jones? Have the students used this graphic organizer in the past, and are they familiar with the expectations of the objective summary? Some of her strengths are as follows. She sets a learning target from the onset. She sets specific time frames for her students for each activity and uses a timer to keep the momentum. She excels at providing positive feedback to her students. She's strong at using probing questions, and she provides opportunities for her struggling students to learn from their peers. Now, despite the strengths, there's some opportunities for growth that I'd like to take you through. When setting the learning target, she stands at the front of the room rather than in and amongst her students. This could be intentional because the board is up front. However, it appears she's struggling to engage those in the back of the class. So walking throughout the room might help the engagement. She does a great job of this when she sits with a small group for a short period of time. All of them are engaged at this point. I think it's safe to assume they hadn't been exposed to the graphic organizer in the past, seeing that she had stopped to clarify this with the entire class. So my first suggestion to help Ms. Jones would be in developing her gradual release process. Providing a model with a think aloud of how to fill in the graphic organizer was needed and wouldn't hinder the validity of the end product, since that requires synthesis, a different level of knowledge. After giving her directions, the questions came flooding in. She spent approximately 3 minutes moving from group to group, answering similar questions. So again, providing a model with a think aloud of how an objective summary should look would have been hugely helpful. She could model the process with a previously read text, guide them with those great probing questions to do the same for the first text read, and then release them to synthesize and develop their summaries independently. So if the teacher questions the engagement of each of the group members, it may simply be a matter of establishing roles and responsibilities for each team member. An anchor chart could be posted with these expectations, or a simple check for understanding by having students repeat the directions back may prove to be helpful. There are a few other things worth mentioning. I questioned the equity and engagement of the students. Also, should the timing of the activities been flipped? Could the discussion questions help better lead the students to filling in their graphic organizer? The discussion questions were about author's purpose, tone, and structure, but the end task asked for theme. Is there a connection? Yes, somewhat, but I'd like to see that more closely to determine alignment of the actual instruction. Lastly, when Eric needed assistance and Tristan gave his response, Ms. Jones should be encouraged to say something like, "Eric, can you repeat what Tristan just said?" In this way, it would allow for Eric to give the right answer and feel successful, and would allow for her to see if he now understands the question. Every day is so different in a classroom, really, but with some fine-tuning of those best practices, Ms. Jones could move from being a really good teacher to having true mastery of her art.